Now we have several videos showing the animals on our It's a Jungle pattern, and they're pretty good, but it was pointed out to me by a customer that she was able to get the animals, but the giraffe had stumped her. So because the neck goes across an offset block and then the background fabric with the head, I'm going to do this video just for those that have a hard time with this concept. So again, you're going to make all your dimensional pieces by putting two pieces of fabric together, right sides together, and the ear has a contrasting inside color. And then of course the giraffe fabric, which is just fun. They have them out there, just have to look for them. And then, oh, you can see on this one, I have the selvage in that, so that's a good thing to show you, to be careful. I'll have to remake that. And then you're going to cut on, sew on the outside solid line, cut on the outside dash line, and then remove the paper and turn them right side out. And like if you have a V like that, cut into the V, it'll help it turn. Just don't compromise the stitches. And then sew across the top, which would be the opening. Take your paper out, turn it through that. Now, the giraffe horn has a skinny thing that's hard to turn. And I've shown this in other videos where you put a straw in. This is just a McDonald's straw, but a drink glass straw that's a little stronger. Put it down to the end, and then put a dowel or something in the straw opening, and then that will help you turn the thing. Pretty soon you don't need the straw. It's just to help turn the fabric. But look how, see that? It's just tricky because it's so skinny. But with that little trick, and then you've got your dowel at the top. You can use it for poking it out like that, and then press it, and there's his horn. Okay, then on the foundation piecing of this, what you do is Xerox your two blocks and tape them together. It says right here, tape these edges together. So, and you want to make sure that this line lines up. And then I'm going to start with area 1. I'm going to paper piece this whole thing as if it's one piece. And number 1 is my offset block fabric. And I'm going to place it right side away. The fabric's right side away. Remember, all other fabric is right side down, but because it's placed where it's going to stay as number 1, it's right side away so that all of area 1 is covered. Then I'm going to do a green background behind his head, and so I'm going to do number 2 as the background fabric. And I can crease this if I want to kind of locate it, and then I'm going to place it right side down, 1/4 of an inch past that crease, so the bulk of the fabric's opposite where I'm trying to cover. Pin it, turn it over, and sew that line between 1 and 2. Trim the extra out of the seam, then this will fold back and cover this part of the background, number 2. Then number 3 is my giraffe neck, and see how they're both 3? Don't let that confuse you. They're both number 3. And I'll show you how after. I'm going to go sew this, press it, and then I'll show you how we put number 3. Number 4 will be another green. 5 will place his head, and then paper piece number 5. And we'll show you that next. Okay, see how number 3 was pieced just as one piece. And then I'm going to trim the extra out of that seam. Grab my scissors. Just trim that out. Leave 1/4 of an inch. If you don't do that, all these little pieces get bulky. Okay, now I need to do number 4, background. Just look at your color guide. It tells you background or offset block for number 1, background for number 2, 3 is one piece for his neck, 4 is another background, and here's my green. So I can crease that line to transfer it to this side. It's easier. And then place it right side down. So it's got like a little bit, like a 1/4 of an inch or a little bit more across that fold, but the bulk of the fabric's opposite where you're covering. Pin it, turn it over, and sew that whole line between 3 and 4. Trim the extra out of the seam. So this will fold back. Okay, now once that's done, we're going to baste right here where the head goes into this seam, and that will locate it to this side, and I'm going to show you how to place that head next. Okay, now we've added this piece, we trim the extra of the seam, it folds back. Then with this side up, we've basted, and there's our location right there. You can see that stitching line. Then we're going to place the head, the open end of the head. I've added some stuffing into his cheeks. Not a lot, and you can keep it away from the stitch line because it gets bulky. But just place it a 1/4 of an inch above that basting line. Then his horn, like that. I'm going to pin that, and then I'm going to foundation piece this area 5 with the background fabric, which is this green. And I'm going to place it along that line. This I'll just pin to secure it so the little horn doesn't move or anything. Turn it over, sew that whole line, trim the extra out of the seam, and it folds back. Then the ear, I think I just used one ear on this guy, is pretty easy. You just fold it together so it has an ear well, and then it's just tacked behind his cheek right here. So I'm going to show you that far, and then I'll show you how we do the mane, and then he's done. Does this help? I hope this helps. Really isn't hard. Area 1, 2, and then piece this as 1, and then baste, place the head. Anyway, let me show you how to do the mane next. Okay, now I've added this last background piece. The horn flips up, tuck the ear behind, and I guess I can do 2 ears. Then the mane is a 4-inch strip that's folded this way twice. Okay, so I folded it in half, folded it again. So there's these 4 layers. Is that right? Or does it go again? 1 fold 2. Yeah, it goes again. Folds like that twice. So that was once. That was twice. And then what I did is I folded it in half, creased it, so I'd have a line to sew down the middle. Then I'm going to cut them like ragged, cut in, not all the way through, but cut in like little 1/2-inch pieces. And then you throw it in the laundry, you get it wet, throw it in the dryer, and it's what's called blooms. It's a rag thing that blooms. And then I don't want it in the seam here, but after it's all put together, then I'll just hand tack the fold here, and of course there'll be a cut here so it will be able to go around the corner, and it's just this ragged, way cool thing. And you can do anything. You could do yarn if you wanted. Just be creative. And their ear must have slipped out of that, but the ear, you could tuck 1 ear here and 1 ear behind, so you could have 1 in front of the mane, 1 behind the mane. Do a button. I do a little stitch here for a little bit of a mouth. But that's kind of how it goes. I hope this has helped. Really simple, but I know it's hard to get it from a photograph in the pattern. So that's why I love these videos, because they really do show how simple. And yet others looking at this are going to say, wow, how did you get that dimension in that seam? And so I hope this shows you how fun and how easy it is. The other videos are on YouTube for doing the lion and the elephant, and you can see this zebra is the same as Giraffe, same head, just don't have to do the 2 pieces for the long neck, and then the monkey. And I hope this video has helped you.